A grisly-looking man with a shotgun entered our campsite in the middle of the night. A couple of summers ago, my friend and I decided we needed a real trip. No hotels, no crowds, no tourist trails. We wanted to disappear into the wilderness for a few days and just breathe. So we packed our bags and headed into the Adirondack Mountains. Now, if you've never been to these mountains, let me paint you a picture. It's over 6 million acres of dense forest, jagged peaks, and glacial lakes. And once you get a few miles off the main trail, you are truly, genuinely alone. No cell service, no rangers nearby, just trees in every direction as far as you can see. We hiked about 5 miles in to reach a small, secluded lake tucked back into the wilderness. Set up camp right on the beach. No other tents in sight. No footprints in the mud. No sign that another human being had been out there in weeks. That's exactly what we wanted. We had no idea what we were walking into, though. Our first night, everything was perfect. Fire crackling, stars overhead, nobody around for miles. We were exactly where we wanted to be. Then, at around 10:30 p.m., one of my friends went quiet. "Hey, is that a flashlight?" I looked across the lake. Sure enough, on the far shore, there was a small beam of light moving through the darkness. We stared at it for a second and kind of shrugged it off. Maybe another camper. These mountains are big, but people are allowed to be there. But then, unease started settling in as the light kept moving closer, slowly but steadily. It was moving around the lake, right toward our campsite. We watched it for probably 20 minutes, telling ourselves it was probably nothing. Just a hiker passing through. But the light never veered off. It never stopped. It just kept coming. That's when the mood around the fire shifted. Neither of us said it aloud, but we felt it. Something was wrong. We made a decision that probably saved our lives. We decided to quietly go crouch down in the woods at the edge of our campsite, just out of sight. If we didn't then, you wouldn't be hearing about this story right now. About a few minutes after we hid in the trees, a middle-aged but rough-looking man with a big beard walked into the glow of our fire slowly, like he owned the place. And that's when we saw what he was carrying. A pump-action shotgun. Neither of us moved or breathed. He walked around the perimeter of our campsite once, then again, inspecting everything, looking at our gear, our chairs, and our food that was hung up near the tree line. His head was on a swivel, scanning the woods around him. Then he walked straight up to our tent and unzipped it. We watched him go inside, and could hear him in there, rustling, rummaging, moving things around. It lasted maybe a minute, maybe two. It felt like forever, though. When he came back out, he stood by the fire and stared out into the darkness surrounding him. And then he cupped his hands around his mouth and shouted, "I know you're out there. Why don't you come say hello?" My friend grabbed my arm. I squeezed her hand back. The man waited, listened. Then he raised the shotgun and fired into the woods. The blast poured through the silence. Birds scattered, and the echo of the sound rolled across the water and died in the trees. The shot wasn't that far from us. He swept his flashlight back and forth through the tree line, slowly scanning the trees. The beam passed over us once, and we flattened ourselves against the ground. Time seemed to have stopped. Neither one of us dared to breathe. I don't know how long we laid there, and just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, he walked back to the fire, grabbed my friend's backpack, and threw it into the flames. He stood there and watched it burn for a moment. Then, without another word, he turned around and walked back the way he came. We lay there motionless until the flashlight was just a small dot on the far side of the lake. We grabbed everything we could to stuff in one pack, and we bolted through the dark, tripping over roots, branches whipping in our face, not slowing down for anything. We hit the trailhead somewhere between 2 and 3 in the morning. We drove straight to the police department and filed a full report. Talked to the officers, talked to the forest rangers, give them every detail we could remember. With concern on their face, they took notes, and they told us they'd look into it. We never heard another word about it. No arrest, no update, no explanation for who that man was, what he was doing out there, or why he seemed so determined to find us. And that's the part that still bothers me, because if the police never found him, then there's a good chance he's still out there, somewhere in those 6 million acres of wilderness, waiting for the next camper. So the next time you're deep in the backcountry and you spot a light moving toward your camp, make sure to take precaution. It could save your life. If this story got under your skin, hit that like button. It helps more people find the channel. If you want to hear more scary stories like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Do you have any scary wilderness stories of your own? Drop them in the comments. I make sure to read every comment.